What is the market scenario as of today? Because when we hear from the public, from the real estate agents, from the brokers, they said for last couple of years the market went down and people, they are scared. The investors are scared.
There's a lot more homes to choose from, thus creating a downward pressure on pricing. So prices are coming down and there's a 5%. So if a house sold for $1 million last year, it's at $950 this year.
Investor or the buyers, they have that fear factor. What is going to happen? Because they, for last 4 years, they saw what happened. And now they have a fear factor. They don't have a confidence in the market. They lost the confidence, not just because of President Donald Trump, because of the Canadian internal interest rates.
Sure.
So how can they have the confidence, the buyer?
Lock in better rates. If you're on a variable rate, fixed rates are coming down, so you can negotiate with the bank, get a better rate, maybe make it a little bit more affordable to carry it.
But is there any guarantee that prices won't go more down?
No, and they likely will. They likely will go a little bit. It looks like it's going
why
down.
They should buy now if price is going down?
Someone that maybe is living, first-time buyer, living at home with their parents. They have no rent. Sure, you can wait, right? But if you're renting, there's a cost to that as well, right? So you have to factor that in the decline. So let's say prices come down another 3-4%. That on that $1 million home, they're $30,000-$40,000. If you look at your rent, it's likely in that range. If you say, oh, prices are coming down, I can keep waiting, you're still paying rent.
Yes.
Right? So factor that into your scenario.
Ethical value in the real estate agents, many times that's missing because they are so greedy. They don't guide their buyer or seller, their client as a professional advice. They just are there to make a commissions.
Sure.
So do you agree with that? Canadian real estate. Today we are going to discuss about the market scenario because we know for last couple of years the Canadian real estate is not in a good shape. Many investors, many homeowners, many first-time home buyers, they lost a big time. Even the investors, they lost a big time. Even the big investors, they dump approximately 80 billion of their property assets here in Canada. What happened? Because the 12 times Bank of Canada interest rate hikes, and then now slowly the interest rates are going down. But in that scenarios, that last 4 years, the people lost a lot of money. And we have in Peel region, we have approximately 90,000 plus realtors. How they survived, what happened to them. We have a real estate agent with us who was quite active in the market, and we will ask him what happened, why this scenario is like same what as we are saying today. And Mr. Sumit Sharda from the SHARDA group. Sumit, welcome to the show.
Hi Nitin, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. And before we start, I'll give you a little bit of an intro about myself. So I've been a real estate broker for close to 2 decades now. My team is at Remax Realty Services in Brampton, and we sell houses across the GTA. So over the years, I've been trusted with, we sell first-time buyer homes, so anywhere from $500,000, $1 million properties to up to $7-8 million homes as well. And so no home is too big or too small for our team to handle. We're a small team just so that we can stay nimble, and I'm personally involved in every transaction. It's been a great career. I have a lot of insight on what is happening today, and I'd like to share some of it with you.
Okay. Sumit, what is your company's name?
So our team is the SHARDA group. We work out of Remax, right? So we're under their umbrella, and my wife is also a realtor with me. So her name is Gunjan Sharda, and together, two of us work together and handle the team.
So what is your social media handles?
The SHARDA group, and the SHARDA group, our website is theshardagroup.ca.
Okay.
My phone number is 416-625-6095. You can reach me directly there.
Okay.
to discuss anything.
So I want to know, like, what is the market scenario as of today? Because when we hear from the public, from the real estate agents, from the brokers, they said for last couple of years the market went down, and people, they are scared. The investors are scared. It's not only because of the President Trump, it's because of the Canadian internal situation, financial situations, Bank of Canada issues. Being a realtor, so seasoned, so experienced, how you see the market scenario as of 2025?
So September 2025 numbers have come out. There's been 5,500 sales, which are up 8.5% from last year. Okay, prices are down 5% since last year, and active listings are up 20%.
Okay.
So the news is there's a lot more homes to choose from, thus creating a downward pressure on pricing. So prices are coming down, and there's a 5%. So if a house sold for $1 million last year, it's at $950 this year, right? Again, higher end homes have taken a bigger hit than the lower price properties. There's just more people that can afford a starter home.
So is this a buyer market or a seller market?
Oh, strong buyer's market. It's a strong buyer's market. It will remain this way for the foreseeable future.
But Sumit, don't you think that the investor or the buyers, they have that fear factor, what is going to happen? Because they, for last 4 years, they saw what happened. And now they have a fear factor. They don't have a confidence in the market. They lost the confidence, not just because of President Donald Trump, because of the Canadian internal interest rates.
Sure.
So how can they have the confidence, the buyer? Because sellers, they have the inventory, they want to sell, they are not getting their rates. Buyer, because they are in big loss, the sellers. If they bought it for 1 million, they are not able to sell it for 1 million. The appraisal price comes 200 to 300,000 less.
Sure.
So what should they do? What should the buyer do or the seller do?
So I can explain both. Seller in that situation, it depends on their personal situation. If they cannot sustain holding the property, then they need to sell. Unfortunately, you have to realize the losses, right? Until you sell it, they're unrealized losses, right? So I encourage people, it depends on your situation. If it makes sense to hold it, we should hold. Hold. There's ways to hold it. Either if you're not renting out the basement, you renovate the basement, rent it out. Lock in better rates. If you're on a variable rate, fixed rates are coming down, so you can negotiate with the bank, get a better rate, maybe make it a little bit more affordable to carry it. Buyer side, it looks like the market will continue to decline in prices. Sales activity is picking up. You see that, right? But prices are coming down because there's just so many homes for people to choose. So now, how do you, as a buyer, it's a great time, right?
But is there any guarantee that prices won't go more down?
And they likely will. They likely will go a little bit. It looks like it's going
why
down.
they should buy now if price is going down?
Because only person that benefits of staying on the market is someone that maybe is first time buyer, living at home with their parents. They have no rent. Sure, you can wait, right? But if you're renting, there's a cost to that as well, right? So you have to factor that in the decline. So let's say prices come down another 3-4%. That on that $1 million home, they're 30,000-40,000. If you look at your rent, it's likely in that range. And parts of the mortgage there's interest and there's principal, so you're still paying it down, right? So it's not apples to apples. If you say, oh, prices are coming down, I can keep waiting, you're still paying rent.
Yes.
Right? So factor that into your scenario. Another thing is that there's situations where, because there's so many homes on the market, you can really go in aggressively. So I'll give you a scenario. Last week, I just sold a house to a first-time buyer in Brampton. At the peak of the market, he would have bought a small townhouse. That's all he could afford, right? His budget was $1 million, in that range, and 1 million, 1.1. So he waited. He was living with his parents. He was a younger individual, under 30 years old, living with his parents, no rent. So he was in the prime situation to take advantage of this market. We just bought him a home that was in the Snell Grove community, 60 by 120 lot, in-ground pool, big backyard, 2,700 square foot home, double car garage, 6-car driveway. It needed renovations. It needs about 150,000 in renovations. It was listed for 1.4 million for earlier this year. Slowly came down. It went down to 1.3 million. And they got an offer for 1,250. They didn't take it at that time. They said, it's too low.
Yeah.
Market, nobody came.
How much they bought for?
So they bought it there. So I'll touch that in a second. So eventually they listed for 1,168. Okay. They got an offer for 1,150. And they didn't, that one they didn't take because it was a long closing. So I dug into my experience as a realtor is you befriend everyone. So I talked to the realtor for an hour, became friends with her. She ended up opening up, gave me some more information, right? And that's, as a good agent, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
So then I got a better picture of the situation. I found out that the seller was moving to Nova Scotia. He was retiring and he had some health complications. So I used that and I said, look, we can give you a 30-day closing. We'll firm it up in a few days. We won't make a long conditional period. And you get to move to Nova Scotia before the winter, right? We ended up getting it for 1.1 million. So 50,000 lower than that other one that had a longer closing, right? And so when you're you asked about the situation on when they bought it about 15 years ago, right? Okay. And that matters. I look at properties, I look at everything. Who is this person selling this home? Did they buy it at the peak? But if they bought it at the peak, the chance is that's not a good deal for us because they will not negotiate down. They're stuck trying to minimize their losses. You find someone that they have equity in their home. And now another thing we did was I got my clients to write a letter. We wrote a letter saying, this is a first-time buyer. They are buying this home for their family home. They're going to raise a family in this home. Some sellers, it works. That they look at that and say, we want someone to take care of our home, right? And that letter caused them to understand. They said, you know what? I want to help this young family out. I want to give them the deal. Okay. And so I explained to them, look, your home may not be worth 1.1. I think it's worth more. But this client is in a situation where this is all they can afford. You are doing this client, you're helping them get their life started. And it made it easier for the seller to come down, right? I did this even on my own home. I had a house, they were retiring the owners, this house that we're shooting in. And I wrote a letter that, look, so I live in a heritage home. It's built early 1900s, and it needed to be renovated. It needed a very extensive renovation, and a lot of people wanted to tear this house down. So I told the seller, look, on my end, I don't want to tear this house down. I know you lived in it for a long time. It has historical significance. We want to honor the home. We are going to bring it, uplift the home, not demolish and build a new one. They sold it to us. They gave us a significant discount because of that. Okay. So you have to, as a good agent, you talk to the selling agent, you figure out the situation of the seller, and sometimes you can benefit from that. If you can't, you move on, find another.
Those are the good tips and good points for the real estate agent, but many agents are very unethical.
Sure.
We have seen people, they say something, they do something else, and there is the ethical value in the real estate agents many times that's missing because they are so greedy. They don't guide their buyer or seller, their client as a professional advice. They just are there to make a commissions.
Sure.
So do you agree with that?
So you mentioned there were close to 90,000 agents. In that number, it's come down quite a bit because a lot of people that jumped on selling real estate during the peak they can't afford it. It's an expensive business to be in, and they were part-timers, right? Okay. So I've been a full-time agent close to 2 decades that I've been in real estate, right? So you are right. 10% of the agents in that number do 70% of the transactions.
Okay.
Okay, most do nothing. There's a lot that just sit there and they sell a few homes a year, maybe their friend's family. To me, if I was hiring an accountant, would I hire an accountant that just does it for him and his family, or someone that does it every day, understands, has experience, practical experience?
Yes.
So you have to be very careful who you hire.
You have to be a full-time to do a justice to your job.
Exactly.
Okay. Sumit, my question is like, do you agree that in last couple of years, the Canadians, the investors, the first-time home buyers, they suffered a lot, they made a losses and they suffered because of the market scenarios?
Oh, 100%, right? So on my business side, I don't sell pre-construction as much.
Okay, why?
Because I do not believe in it. If you look at holding your deposit for a number of years, realtors make good money on it,
Yes.
right? Commissions are high.
Yeah.
The builders want you to make 5-6%.
Yeah.
I will tell you, I've sold a handful where it wasn't a very good deal. That's what we've sold. All right. Most of the time, I talk my clients out of it because you can invest that money in other ways in the markets, your deposit during that 2-3 year period when the unit is being completed or the home is completed, and get some gains. On this side, builder just benefits from it. You're not getting earning interest on your $100,000-$200,000 deposit, right? And you're taking the risk. There's a gamble of market will go up. It had gone up for almost 2 decades, right?
Okay.
So it had gone up and people thought it will keep going up. That's not the case, right?
Yes. So what is your advice to the seller first? What is your main advice to the seller in this tough market? What you'll say?
So just to touch base on just to backtrack, I'll finish that and then I'll answer the advice. Unfortunately, it was like gambling. They were buying, they had one principal residence, they're booking 2-3 homes. And then I would ask people, what if the market drops? Could you close all those 2-3 homes? Likely the answer is no. Most people were like that. There's many investors that had the backing, they can afford it, they can ride it out. I understand that, but that was the minority. Most were, I see market is going up, it's gambling. You're buying a lottery ticket. Right? Unfortunately, that is not a good business model. And so they got duped by people. The media was telling them market's going up. The Bank of Canada said we are not dropping interest rates, and then they dropped interest rates. Right? It was an unfortunate situation.
We got it. So your advice to the seller.
And now I'll sell you advice to the seller. I'll give you advice to the seller. Advice to the seller is, it depends scenario to scenario. Either if you can continue to hold, because likely you will not realize those benefits. So I'll give you one example of what's happening currently. I had a client, they bought in Wasaga Beach, not through me. They bought through another agent. At the peak, they bought a nice detached home worth $1.7 million at that time. That's what they paid. That house is unfortunately worth about $1.3 million right now. They can't lose that. The $400,000 plus carrying cost. The house is costing them about $5,000 a month in carrying, even after it's being rented. It's just, you can't rent it for that much, right? So what we are doing is, right now I told them, let's try to keep that one, but they had a couple of other rental properties. I said, let's sell them and restructure, take advantage of this low market on your principal residence. So I looked at their whole picture and I said, this one we can't sell right now. It's going to lose too much. But they were thinking about buying a bigger house. Okay. So I said, this is a good time to upgrade your home because the big homes have taken a bigger drop. So let's try to mitigate the losses here by taking advantage of the situation there. So that's what we're doing. I have to look at the situation. It's not a blanket statement on everyone.
Okay, so you have to look to the situation for the seller.
Exactly.
So for the buyer, what you will say?
So on the buyer side, you can benefit. Market might go down. It may not go down. It might go down. I don't think it will go up in the next till probably 2027. Okay. We should likely get another 2 interest rate cuts. They say that it's not guaranteed, right? But based on the US situation, it looks likely that they will have to do that.
So buyers should wait or they should invest?
So buyers, have time to buy, where you get the deal. The point is, be picky right now. Go in, and because listings are up drastically, you have abundance. So go in and not be
Means shopping around.
shopping around and
You may
find
get
the
the
right
deal.
deal. So you might have, your agent has to work really hard right now.
Okay, got it. So buyer should do a shopping and find a best deal for them if they can get, because prices are down.
Correct.
Sumit, why the investor? Because we have seen that investor, they lost a lot of money in last few years.
Sure.
We don't know why the Canadian real estate went that way, because of the Bank of Canada's interest rate hike 12 times, and people, their incomes are not matching their spendings.
Sure.
Right? So they bought the house because first time home buyer also lost. If someone bought house for 1 million, their value remains 850. They lost 150,000 on the house. Why to invest in the Canadian real estate rather than the US real estate? US real estate, we can get a mansion for $500,000. Here in 500,000, you don't even get a townhouse.
Sure.
And US is a 30 trillion economy. We are not even a 3 trillion economy. Why investors should not look for US rather than Canada?
So you asked about US versus Canada. I can't speak to the US because it's such a big country, a much bigger economy than us. So there's many different pockets. California's real estate is different from Florida, etc. Right? But talking about Canada, Canada was a speculation market at the peak. There was no fundamentals when people were buying. If you looked at it, it didn't make sense to invest. People were investing, nothing was cash flowing. It was being purchased on value will go up next year, I'll sell it, right? So that wasn't fundamentals of investments. I wouldn't even, those people were gambling, all right? And unfortunately, they took a big loss, right? What you're seeing now is a lot of investors coming back in. They're looking at the numbers, and if you look at the numbers on cap rate is how much the income of the property is covering the cost of the property, right? The numbers are starting to make sense. You can buy properties now that cash flow positive. So they're slowly coming back in. It will take a few years for buyer confidence to come in, right? But on the first time buyer side, the peak of the market was highly unaffordable, right? And so now, if you look at the numbers again, interest rates are dropping. Most first-time buyers look at monthly payments to can they qualify.
Interest rates are dropping. Interest rate went high 12 times in a row.
Correct.
And you have reduced the interest rate 2 or 3 times in a row.
Sure.
And then give a gap. So it's not matching.
It's not.
It's something like, because owning a home is a dream for every family.
Sure.
Those who are living in the basements, they want to move out to their own home.
Sure.
But thing is, what happened, the scary market, which I said, the people lost the confidence because when they bought a first house, now their depreciation. Real estate is giving them a depreciation.
Sure.
They lost $200,000, $300,000 less.
Sure.
Appraisals are coming less.
Sure.
When their property taxes are not less, but appraisals are less.
Sure.
So kind of that limbos in the market, people, the investor or first time home buyer lost the confidence.
Sure.
So now do you think it will revive?
Yes, so I'll touch on two. There's 2 points to that question. I'll touch on both. I'm noticing personally that the buyer confidence is slowly coming back. They're realizing that the market has remained like this for the past year or so, and I think likely it'll remain. There'll be a slow downward trend, but it's minor. 5% drop over the year. Next future is unknown.
You said the confidence will come back.
It slowly come back, right? Okay. And first time buyers, if you look at it, you have to rent, you have to buy, you need a house.
Okay.
You're paying down your mortgage here, you're paying your landlords. So that is coming out, right? But on the people that have purchased, their situation, unfortunately, it's going to take a long time to benefit from. Yes. They've lost that $200,000, let's say. So what I tell those buyers is, at that time, you bought a house for $1 million, it dropped to $800,000, let's say. If you had bought a $1.3 million house, it would have dropped to $1 million. So that house dropped $300,000, yours dropped $200,000, right? So this is the time for you as a buyer to upgrade your home. If you were thinking of upgrading, this is a good deal to do that. And that will help you mitigate some of the losses. You won't lose all of it, but you'll help a little bit.
But if someone lost, they are not in a position to stand back. Many bankruptcies happen in these scenarios, that losing $300,000, go
Sure.
for another, they went into bankruptcies. Sumit, because market is tough,
Sure.
market may revive because hope is there. It may revive, but we don't know how the Canada-US relation goes, how the Trump's tariffs goes,
Sure.
whether the investor will have a reconfidence in the Canadian real estate market, because people and population is there, they have to buy, they
Sure.
have to buy. But at what stage they have to buy? Because if they buy $1 million property for 800,000, they think that no, it should be 600,000, because we don't know what is going to happen between
Sure.
Canada and US. So that limbo, we will leave it here
Sure.
because we don't know how the market goes. But still, someone has the equity, someone has the money. If they want to buy, they can buy,
They can buy.
and they can reach you. How they can reach you, Sumit?
So you can call me at my direct number, which is 416-625-6095. You can reach us at info@shardagroup.ca as
Okay.
well.
Okay.
And our social media handle, it's the Sharda Group.
Okay.
So you can look it up, Instagram,
Okay.
as well as Facebook there.
Okay, before I let you go, your final message to the people who want to buy, who want to sell, or investors.
So on my end, how I approach business is I talk to you personally, and I pride myself in that I will never tell you to sell if it's not the right time to sell, right? So if it means it's going to take 2-3 years, who cares? Because I'm in the business, I'm not going anywhere. You will, if you tell someone an honest answer, they know that people aren't stupid, right? And so they appreciate the truth, right? So I will hold off, and what I tell you is, call me directly. We will chat about your situation, and I will do the numbers and explain to you why you should buy or sell if in this situation, or if we should hold on and let's wait it out.
Okay.
Right? That's what I would do.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for this all vital information.
And thank you for having me.
Thank you.